Hey, welcome back to Minecraft! On the last episode, we went and explored the deepest, darkest, scariest parts of the world in a quest to find some of these bad boys. Because I wanted to improve my mountain lab elevator. But the episode went on for too long, so I didn't actually have time left to truly build it, so let's get that out of the way first of all, shall we? Alright, so I think we might actually have a problem with this. I anticipated this to be very easy, but I've realized some potential issues we might run into. These send out redstone signals when they pick up sound. The default ones just pick out any sound. However, they have a fairly short distance, so if I'm back here, I think they won't notice me anymore. Which, that's too little. So these won't do anyway. However, we can improve them by just adding some amethyst around. This doubles the distance at which they discover sound. This should pick up everything in the whole lab, or enough of it anyway. But most important, these guys can actually be programmed to react only to specific sounds, depending on how strong a redstone signal they receive. So we can force them to react only to walking, which is at least gonna make sure they won't react to any farms going off. Except it will not, because this farm has creatures walking in it. So that's still gonna be a problem, but I'll figure something out. They can actually. They work the same way as I avoided them in the deep dark. The guys that you can improve with amethyst still work the same way. If I put wool between me and the thing, it cannot hear me anymore. So I'll figure something out. I won't bore you anymore with it. I'll get back to you once I've set it all up in a way where whenever I walk around anywhere up here, my elevator gets called, but the frickin' farm here or the iron golems will not interfere with it. So, let me put on my thinking cap and let's get to work. I don't know what I came in here for. Alright, turns out that was actually very easy. I was worrying too much. It's done. It's fully installed now. The thing is in the ground, here. That was wrong. Let me try that again. The thing is in the ground here. There we go. It has water in it, so it does not make sound anymore. And I put wool underneath the thing, so it doesn't detect anything going on down below me. And, well, the thing that I was worried about, this place over here, turns out I was being stupid. After struggling for way too long trying to install wool somewhere in the wall over there, I got the brilliant idea, what if I just make the platform out of wool? And then as I was doing that, I realized, well, it's completely enough to just put the first few blocks out of wool. Because if there's wool in front here, then, well, sounds happening back here can't be sent through that anymore. So, yay, it's safe now. The wiring is very bad. It could probably be done better, more efficiently, but it works, so I'll take it. And this redstone block here is our thing. There's the wool underneath. It gets a signal from an item frame, which gives a strength of 1, which means walking. So it reacts only to walking. And then the signal goes out all the way over here. Yo, I'm actually faster sneaking than walking. And the signal pushes a wooden block in front of some leaves, or it pushes them away rather, which then this thing is the other thing. Ignore that for now. This goes down all the way. It can only be sent 6 blocks, so after 6 blocks we have another observer which sends down another wooden block onto another row of leaves. And this takes a signal down to an observer which activates our elevator if it's downstairs. Yay. Since this is all built in so little space, I think this is gonna be tough to understand probably if I show it, but also it's not rocket science, it's not super impressive. It works is what's important, alright? And it still works to take it down normally, no problem, nothing changed there. And then down here we have the next one installed. I don't remember where exactly, but below one of these blocks. Which actually had another issue, because turns out swimming also counts as walking, so fish activated the thing, but I put 2 wool blocks. Wait, yes, I found it immediately, but I still can't show it. Let's fly in. There we go. There's a row of diagonal wool blocks here. You can't really see it. It's 3 wool blocks here, which fully blocks off the water. So it sends a signal from here on. There you could see the wave. But swimming or walking on the dock is silent, and it works perfectly. But hold up, you can see the elevator is down here now. And now if I fly back up... Why did I locked myself in the door. I don't know why I did it like that. Now if I leave the cave this way and then at a later point come back in through the top, I don't have to wait for the elevator forever. I can come running in and it should roughly now send a signal. Did not show the wave, but it should have done the thing anyway. It doesn't always show the thing. There we go, it's on the way. Of course, it's still a slow elevator, so it doesn't work that it's just immediately here, but also, I don't know how often I'll truly be fully gunning it from the entrance to the elevator, and even then, it does at least cut the time in half. The time that I need to wait for the elevator. And it works, it's great, it's done now, we did it, we have fancy elevator now. Moving on to the next thing. Much more exciting than this stupid thing in the wall there. I'm actually playing on the new version now. I'm playing on 1.21, which means we have the auto crafter now. That's a thing now. It exists. We can automate crafting. And of course, way more exciting, we get a lot of new copper block variants and tough block variants. I'm honestly very excited for those. You'll know how I previously mentioned I was gonna... Oh no, it's sleepy time. I previously mentioned I was gonna go sleep. Let's do that! Alright, I mentioned at a previous point in time that I was gonna put the industrial district on hiatus until this very update comes out because I wanted the cool copper blocks and auto crafting to do it. And guess what? There's a lot of creepers there. We have the cool new blocks now. So, the building for which I already started building a little platform there in the past, we can actually get started on that now. I really love the copper trapdoors. I like the grates a lot. I really like the tough blocks. Hold up, let's grab all the stuff and I'll show you the very nice stuff we have available now. We have this polished tough block, which is very fancy. I like it. It's very simple, but I think this is gonna be an amazing roof block. And we have slightly fancier variants of that. We have these 2 tough pillar blocks. I think this might be really cool for floor designs, and this I don't know yet, but I really like it. Cool snail pattern, I approve. And yeah, the side of course, also fancy. I like these. They're okay. I'll probably use these for stuff, but the most exciting, I love these fellas. They're gonna make such good windows. And they can be filled with water, though I'm not entirely certain I'm gonna use that a lot, but they look cool. And most excitingly, we have actual proper copper trapdoors now. And of course, all the copper variants also come in all the different copper colors. So I've been using acacia trapdoors so far to kind of look like copper trapdoors. But now we have actual real copper trapdoors in different color variants. So I've mentioned in the past that this city I want to build here is kind of gonna be inspired heavily by Lies of P, because that's an absolutely gorgeous game. That's also what my skin is from, by the way, in case you were wondering. So yeah, I like that game. It's a good game. Go check it out. It's also beautiful. And there's a factory level in Lies of P, which I think I'm gonna be heavily stealing some inspiration from that factory. And I think the new blocks are gonna be quite helpful to get the right feeling for that structure. I'm not entirely certain yet how I want it to look or how big I want it to be. I just know I want it to be big, and I want it to be probably a complex of multiple buildings. I think I'll just fill my pockets with a lot of the fancy new blocks and work out a little demo to preview. So see y'all in a little bit. Alright, I've messed around with the new blocks a little bit and I figured out, I think, a palette and style that I think looks pretty neat. There it is! I love how the new tough blocks look in combination with brick, granite, and the awesome new trapdoors. I also like the pots as a transition block from walls to full blocks. Pretty fancy! And I took a lesson from Beat Ups there, who taught me about faking depth with block texture. Because I wanted the pillars here to continue visibly downward through the foundation, but it was supposed to just be a very small difference in depth, and I couldn't get it to look right with any blocks. So I just did it by using brighter blocks for that now, and I think the idea comes across. I think it looks pretty cool. It does limit us in how we can texture the bottom here, because bricks and polished andesite both have a very bright border on the left side, so if I put it over here, it won't work anymore, and then this won't look like it's peeking out further anymore. This will then look like it's out more. So we can only use it on the right side, where in fact it has a dark border, so actually it adds to the effect for us. But that's neat. It's fun playing around with the textures a little bit there to fake some depth. And yeah, the new copper blocks are great. I love them a lot. So this is gonna be the vibe that the whole factory is gonna have. I'm not entirely certain yet how big and where exactly and how I want to build everything. Because I don't know, I've gotten super used to just planning most things out in detail in creative mode beforehand, but I kind of want to go back to the old school ways when I first started playing Minecraft and just immediately built everything in survival mode directly. I want to try doing that. Where's my bed? I left my bed up top. It's dark, it's spooky. Especially because essentially the most annoying thing about building stuff directly in survival mode, why I stopped doing it, was because it's really annoying to stack up somewhere, place a few blocks, jump back down, walk back, take a look at it, see you don't like it, and then have to stack back up. But now I have free cam. I can just... While I was building this, I was constantly just sneaking on the side and flew out in free cam and looked at it and could immediately change the block. So I think it's gonna be a fun experience to try and go back to building stuff directly in survival mode. And I think I may undo all the work I've done on this cliff here, because I might want to just have this be stone wall with, like, at the bottom a little bit of cliff poking out, because I think otherwise it will look weird, the transition from wall there to then no wall anymore. But we'll see, that's stuff for later. However, I can't right away continue building the factory up much. We have a small issue with this, which is, man, this uses a lot of copper. Like, a lot of it. I do have some copper left in storage, but the amount of copper trapdoors that will go into this factory, as well as, like, the majority of this wall is built from copper grates. Or maybe not the majority, but a good bit of it. So I'll burn through my copper storage super quick. You have to make sure I can get copper to build a large factory with a lot of copper somewhat quickly. Which means, boy, do you all remember my copper farm? Do you know I have a copper farm? I built a copper farm at some point. It exists in the world still. I haven't been there very much at all because it's garbage. It barely works. It is really bad. I built it fairly early on because I was building all my roofs from copper blocks, so back then already I needed a lot of copper. However, most of the copper I actually ended up building with, I just mined because my farm, Garbo. I think it's time that we return to that farm and actually see if we can maybe fix it and make it a little bit better. I have some ideas that I want to try out. Let me put my building stuff away and we'll quickly run over and check it out. It's somewhat close to where I started, where the spawn point is. Just over this lake here, you will soon be able to see a nasty cobblestone pillar, which marks the nastiest, worst, probably most incomplete project here. Look at this dang abomination. It's so ugly. The idea was that there's a bubble column in here and the zombies shoot up through there and then they are supposed to wander over the soul sand with their heads constantly in a water stream up there. Because zombies need to have their heads underwater for 30 seconds and then they'll turn into drowned, and drowned can drop copper. However, because this is such a long, weird route here, it takes them too long to complete, and the biggest issue is there's no answer to baby zombies in this design. If there's a baby zombie, it screws the whole thing up. Because guess what? Baby zombies won't have their head in the water stream, so they won't be pushed over. They can just walk around freely at the bottom. So if there's a baby zombie standing there, everybody else will get stuck on that baby zombie. So I think I'm gonna tear all of this down because I do have a better idea, I believe. I don't know if it's gonna work, but it should. Let's actually go down. I haven't been here in so long. Is it on right now? Oh, it is. Wait, then that's suspicious that there haven't been any zombies up top. Where's the zombies? Oh, there's one. Is there copper left in here? There's a ton of armor. There's 9 copper ingots, hell yeah. That's 2 trapdoors, y'all. Okay, wait, let's wait for a second. Wait for this guy we just saw come up to fall down. Actually, we can recam up top and watch him. Here he is. He should start shaking any minute now because he'll turn or start turning into a drowned. Right? Will you start shaking? Please? Is down here the part where they start shaking? He's not shaking yet. Oh. They're not shaking, huh? Well, that's a normal zombie. Okay, so that's another problem. I swear to you, it did work once upon a time. So, in addition to baby zombies and the too long travel being an issue, I guess we now have a much bigger issue of it just not working at all anymore. But that's fine. I mean, it was bad anyway. We absolutely have to rework this. Now there's, I guess, all the more reason. So I do have an idea what I want to do, which also means I won't have to have such a huge ugly structure out here. I think I'll just create a chamber that the zombies all bunch up in, and then every 45 seconds it opens a gate that lets them into a room where they'll have their heads underwater. And that room after 45 seconds is gonna drop them out and let the new wave in. Because it takes 30 seconds before they start turning into drowned, and after that it takes another 15 seconds for them to fully turn. So I think overall, just having them wait for 45 seconds between waves is still gonna be faster than the weird travel that they have to go through here, and there shouldn't be any chance for them to get stuck. So let me work this out. I will get to building my idea. We'll see if it works, and if it does, I can explain it maybe a little bit more clearly. The dumb chicken landed here. By actually showing you the thing. So, yeah, I'll improve this now. Alright, I haven't tried it yet, but I think I'm done. It should theoretically work now. Let me give y'all the tour real quick. Imagine I'm a dumb, stupid zombie. We'll have to close this up, by the way. Now, imagine I get pushed in here. I can get stuck here, which is an issue. I can fix this by putting a piston there that just every now and then pushes zombies over. But ignoring that for now, I get pushed over here. If I'm a baby zombie or a chicken, I should get pushed through there. And behind there, we have a little place of much fun. There's some blue campfires that are gonna take good care of our baby zombies. Make sure they don't freeze in the cold water here. Alright, then I get pushed all the way over here. And I drop down in here, which is a half step to make sure they can't jump back up. This drops me down after 45 seconds. And then briefly before this goes off, this opens up every 45 seconds, making sure the zombies stay in here. There's water where my head is. So after 45 seconds, I should be drowned, and then I drop down here. Yeehaw. And as soon as this closes, the one up top opens up briefly to let in the next wave of zombies. This should theoretically work, so I'll remove this block so that my zombies can land on the spike down there again. One thing I've also realized, at the time I built this, I put the glow lichen around the spawner because it just looked a little nicer from the outside, but I think we actually have to get rid of that now. Because when I built it, mobs needed a light level of 7 or below to spawn. Now they actually need 0, and this should, I think, light up some blocks around here to above 0. worsening our spawn rates. So let's get rid of these bad boys. Is there one up top as well? No, I was cheap. I was a cheapskate. I still am, to be honest. Let's try it out. Turn off the light. There's immediately a zombie. Let's go into cheaty cam and watch him. He's not a small zombie, so he goes past that, no problem. Now down he drops. And it opened up. He's in this chamber now. He should start shaking soon now, because now there's absolutely no chance that his head wasn't underwater. It opened up too quickly. I guess I got my timing really wrong. That's an easy fix though. Let me show you the redstone. Alright, so we have the two pistons here that push out the blocks that drop the zombies down. There's a hopper clock. I currently have... Let's pause this so I can easily add more items. There's currently a total of 57 items in here. But I'll have to mess around with the timing to see what leads to the required 45-second window. When this switches, it sends a signal over here, triggering this piston, and we have a constant signal going in there. So the signal gets sent through when this block is there, which then goes through the back here, and this constant signal is being changed to be a pulse by this little system here. So it sends a quick pulse up there, so every time this signal turns on, in other words, whenever this gets pushed closed again, it sends a quick pulse to open the top window up. So the only thing left to mess around with is to figure out the exact timing here. Alright, awkward that I had my timing super messed up. I never tested it, I just did some apparently very wrong math, but I timed it now, and I... With 64 items and another 60, I'm now at 47 seconds. So if we turn it on again... Oh drat, they can't all fit in the hole. Okay, it's actually working properly now. I've raised the water stream by one single block and now it's all working great. The timing seems perfect, genuinely as soon as they turn. It opens pretty much instantly. There's a lot less room for error here. So that makes me happy. That's an ancient project that now finally kind of works. Is this the most efficient copper farm? Hell no, it absolutely is not. There's much better copper farms. Just a few weeks ago, I've watched Tango Tech build a much better copper farm in his Hermitcraft series. But this one, I came up with. And what's also kind of cool about this now, except for this ugly tower that's still here, it's actually... Hey, there's a trader here. What you got? It's not too great. You can go. I can tear this down now. This is where they previously came out. Oh no. Flooding. Flooding. Okay, there we go. Fixed it. And then we actually have nothing on the surface here anymore. It's no longer a big, really ugly structure. I was worried before with the old version because I didn't know what building to build that could somehow incorporate the weird towers that we had up there. And guess what? Now they're gone. Now we can build a normal building. Alright, I've spent a little bit more time here. In fact, I've noticed another problem with it. When it's nighttime, the AI of drowned zombies actually changes ever so slightly. Normally, they just sink to the bottom of any water they're in. But during the night, they actually swim up to the surface. Which means up here in our farm, where these fellas are constantly standing with their heads in water, they just wouldn't fall down anymore at night. They would swim up. But as you can see, it's turning night now, and you will see in a second what I've changed here. You see swimming up, but the water is being taken away now. I've fixed that by just adding a dispenser that quickly picks up the water whenever this bottom latch opens and then puts it back when it closes. So everything still works the same up there, except now it also works when it's dark out. And I've also actually fixed the issue with zombies refusing to take the elevator. You can see it, he gets stuck for a second, but then he walks in by himself. In fact, what I've done here, I did not install a piston, that would have been way more complicated. I thought of a simpler way. There's just a turtle egg back here now. And some trapdoors in the wall here, so the zombies see the egg through these trapdoors, and zombies want to stomp turtle eggs, so it sometimes takes them a little bit, so it can seem like they're getting stuck, but eventually, ouch. Eventually, they do all walk in. They do sometimes get stuck on the ledge here, which confuses me, but I mean, even there, eventually they will see the egg and just walk over. And I took out the spike at the bottom here, because at night, when the drowned are swimming up in the water, they actually drop down from ever so slightly higher up, which means the drop with the spike would have killed them. And since, I mean, I'm using a sword anyway, so it doesn't matter how much health they arrive with. If they're not on full health, it's enough for the sword. So I've fixed all apparent issues I've noticed with it so far, and it's working pretty good now. But you know that this thing's working pretty well, and we've got a decent bit of copper saved up from it, and a new way of getting it other than me strip mining for hours, which honestly would be more efficient probably, but I think I'd actually like to get a little bit more building done this episode, so it's not all redstone stuff. So, remember this cliff that I said I would probably get rid of all the work I've done on it again? I think the first thing that I should get done with the factory, which is gonna set a good vibe for the rest of it, I should get the view from over here done, because this is the most important view, let's face it. The industrial district's supposed to look cool from the street here. So, I think I'll try to get some work done on this wall here. I think I want to keep some spikes up here, but then probably move the top back. So the spikes stop at some point before reaching the top. And then I'll build a big, tall wall there that's gonna have like a sign or something on it. Alright, I'll start figuring out how I want to do that. Well, I stared at the cliff for way longer than I really should have and couldn't decide whether I really wanted to get rid of it or not. So I ultimately decided that I will just leave that for later me to decide, and immediately moved on to working on the actual wall. So I figured out the general shape that I wanted for it, but then couldn't decide on a good height yet, so instead I started working on the window first. Wanted the top to have an arch, but that took me quite a while until I was happy with that curve. And I thought it was lacking some detail, so I futzed about with some options to add like a grid or something on top, but I hated all of that, so moving on. Instead I added a fancier border around the window, and to make that pop a little bit more, I tried if maybe I liked it better if the wall around it was built from, well, walls. Spoiler, yes, that's what I will change the whole wall to later. And I moved back to the top. I added a little bit more depth with these slabs there, and then built another window in the middle. So now I could decide on the height of the building, and built a pillar to finish off the side, and then went on to work out the roof shape from there. It took me a little while till I liked that, but I think it turned out fairly well in the end. And well, guess what? I still really didn't like the window, so I tore that out again. I moved that back one block and added a row of brown and grey glass in front of it, which I thought was going to give it a more pronounced grid pattern, but it did not do that. But regardless, I liked this better than what it looked like before. Then on the other side window, I figured out that it actually looked better if I made the window one block shorter. So I did that, and at this point all that was left to do is mirror everything and add a little bit more texture. And with that, we are done. Well, not done, obviously, but we have a wall, and that's kinda done. I'm not 100% happy with it, but I've been fiddling around with it for too long and I can't actually think of any actual improvement to it. So I think I just gotta take a break from it and come back in a couple of days, and then maybe I'll have the fix for it and know exactly what it's missing. I fell down. But I do think it's looking okay. Not looking awful, I do like it. I think this is gonna be a very cool new addition to this district. I am almost tempted, and this would be very tedious and stupid to do, but if I look at it from over here especially, I feel like I almost want the foundation to be one block higher still. Like move this stair up one block, which means I would have to move the whole wall up, which for the big wall in front, that would be quite the tedious job. I would not enjoy doing that super much, but I don't know. As I said, I'll have to sleep on it. I'll have to ponder it a little bit. I do think it's not looking bad. I do like it. But It's getting dark. I should go to bed. As I go to bed though, this episode is getting pretty long again, and we have done a lot in it. We've started building a new house here. We've looked at some of the fancy new blocks and fell in love with them. And most importantly, I finally fixed my nasty, awful, really bad copper farm. So now it's no longer nasty and awful, but honestly still really bad. But it's a lot better anyway. So I hope you've had a good time watching. I hope you're as excited about the new big ol' factory as I am. And I hope to see you again in the next episode. Until then, bye bye!